Yeah, so in Korea and China, it's the upcoming players are so robust. And this is where I actually think the biggest gap is, where you don't look at the top teams every year. You look at the players that debuted every year in LCK versus LCS or other regions. Like LCK has like banger rookies. Like the year of like Showmaker Canyon into Keria into like Guma, Owner. Like every year there is like a new star or a new
I mean,
rookie player.
Pays right
Pays
now
this
is
year, yeah. Where you look at every year for LCS, like the new players that are being developed, and you looked at the chain, and then like you look at the future of what's to come. People in North America, I would say, at least in my sphere, and from what I understand, League is in a different circle than it used to be. It used to be people in high school, people in college are playing League.
right.
And I feel like at least in Cali, at least in my circle of friends, everyone's playing Valo or other games. And I feel like it's going to be even more so. And also one thing NA has to deal with is console gamers. Not saying console or mobile gamers are bad, but there's a much bigger percentage that takes up those gamers. So yeah, with NACL in the position that it is, outside of collegiate suddenly becoming a giant scene in itself, what's the future for League of Legends in North America?
Yeah, good question. I mean, I'll give you a random one. Look, just because everyone's talked this topic to death, I'll give you like what I think's like a unique angle, which I actually think would be cool. Which is, to me, I actually think one thing teams could do. You might be able to relate to this, LS, because this was what happened in StarCraft 2, if everyone remembers. Is in the short term, I don't know how you make a secondary league, and I don't know how you fund it, and how you can get it good enough that the player can ever be close enough to go to LCS. But I know that back in the day, when the Western teams got big in StarCraft 2, what they would do is, when you wanted to go to Korea, if you were like Thorin or Nanawa or something like that, your team would just make a deal with a Korean team house like OGS or something like that, and you would start Hill. And what you would do is they would pay that team to let you live there, and then also get you in on some of the scrims. Like they give you like a practice partner to play against, or if they have a pro league game, maybe you get to be like the Protoss that plays against MVP in a PVT or something like that. And they'd let you do this, and the idea was you would not only play like the ladder, but you could level up as a player. To me, I actually think in the short term, if you just wanted to develop specific players, say you had a Jojo and you were like, he's pretty skilled, but he hasn't got the elements of the game. Why not do that with the RL teams? Maybe you have like a Carmine Corp type team, and Team Liquid has a player they want to develop, and they say, right, we're going to send you for a split to play in France or whatever with Carmine Corp. We'll pay them. They'll use you. They'll get to use you to like brand themselves, etc. And if you get good and you're good enough and you look like if you'd been in Europe, you'd make LEC, you come back and you join the LCS team. I'm throwing it out there as a pure spitball, because I feel like people at the moment haven't got any new ideas. So that's a random one for you. What do you think?
I think that like kind of kills the future of LCS. Like if your end goal is going to develop in another region and then going to LEC.
No, I mean, come back to LCS after that. Once you develop in the RL, if you do well, you come back and play in LCS.
Yeah, you don't count as an import player. So
you missed the part about the team. The idea is the American team would be the one funding this, so that then you come back and play for them, but you don't just come straight from Academy to LCS. You've had like a split in a real region where you play a final of LFL, just the crowd, you get the premise.
Yeah. I swear to God, I have a streamer mode on, and but it's team.
All right, don't worry about it, mate. It's all good.
Man, I don't know. I honestly don't have a good answer either. But
all right. I'm done with this, because no one's actually able to answer this question. Why does the LCS need to continue to exist? Why? If it's a failing business, just let it fucking fail. I don't have any investment within the LCS. In fact, I welcome the death of the LCS. So, and I'm sure my friend here, Ellis, he's not going to say this, but man, sure would be convenient if he had one less region to watch. And if it was the worst region, if the worst region where we have to watch these games to discuss them happened to go away, would I be sad? No, because I enjoyed watching fucking StarCraft back in the day, where I just watched GSL in Korea and it was fucking glorious, right? Imagine being able to follow just one league and having all the commentary, focused on that league. I would shed 0 tears if all I had to watch was LEC, LCK, and LPL going forward.
That's sad for LCS.
It is. By the way, obviously, this is like a dodgy topic, LS. So do you have any thoughts you want to say on this topic at all? You don't have to, by the way. You're not obliged to. We'll force you to.
So I mean so I'm making a video probably whenever I'm done here. I'm making a really comprehensive video. Like I'm talking to some of the journalists and stuff, and I've been reached out to like by a lot of the players. And I think what some people don't know is a lot of the Korean agents reach out to me to try to make sense of what the fuck's going on.
Okay.
Like in some weird ass way, I'm like a bridge between like what's going on with LCS and like it's really strange. So there is way more fucked up shit happening right now than people are aware of, and I don't know how it hasn't broke yet. Phil Aram, am I saying that right?
I think
Yes.
so, yeah.
Okay, Phil Aram, like there is like literal criminal stuff that is happening that I know that LSPA knows about, and I just don't know how it's not breaking. So I'm making like a comprehensive video of like some of the stuff that I know that's going on, recapping everything, what I think's going. Like I'm gonna talk about everything in this video, like that I'm gonna make after. But also there's like the Korean aspect of it, because imports are just flooding the region, right, every single year. And so that is also one of the big things, because the whole reason this whole NACL thing is existing is because they're always talking about NA talent and NA talent, NA talent. And there's like that Tyler 1 clip that is circulating right now on YouTube. It's like 5.5 minutes long right now, and it's really, really good, where Tyler talks about why NACL failed and why it shouldn't exist and like all this other stuff. It is really weird. My suggestion for LCS, which I mean, obviously I don't think CB LoL would like it, was like I thought they were headed this direction because LCS did the thing where they made an official LCS Spanish stream recently.
Yeah.
And then
Where they
made
basically
other
do
languages.
VCT Americas, right? And bring
Right.
Yeah.
I thought they were getting ready to merge.
That'd be
with CB
great.
LoL.
And
That's what I thought was
possibly
gonna happen.
LLA as well would be great.
Right. Because there was like, now they just did this in Southeast Asia, right? They like merged some of the region, I think, or they did something with some of the tournaments or some of the regions. Like they have like their own region still, but then something ends up happening. I said that was one of the directions. But now you have like Disguised Toast entering. Disguised Toast made his tweet and shows that the Disguised Toast scheme is going to run him $1 million, $994,000 for 1 year. It's insane. Obviously, he's lighting money on fire. Now, the weird thing is, Disguised Toast is just being super transparent about this. This blows in the water all of the projections that everyone else was saying that was NA Academy is 440,000.
Yep.
Disguised Toast is literally just posting a public number that doubles that.
The people I talked to said the minimum 600K at least.
Right. But there was like notable figures saying that it was 440. Like I remember seeing that several places. So I can't remember what Steve said in his video. I think he quoted an exact number. But now Disguised Toast put out the 994,000, and it's like, wow, okay. The Team Liquid woman, I don't know her name. She got a lot of flack. She deleted her tweet, I think, for laughing at someone for saying that she said that the number was way higher than whatever, and she deleted the tweet, and she, but now obviously I think the Disguised Toast tweet vindicates that. So yeah, I don't know. And NACL is it's doomed. And now also they canceled Asset Day. So Travis Gafford tweeted out that he's expecting that Riot is going to postpone LCS now.
Because they didn't do a media day and assume didn't bother doing the stuff, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so basically the Asset Day guys are for the photo shoots for the players and everything like that, for all of the graphics and photos.
I have one thing to say on this topic, right? This is where I have mastered Twitter in a level plebs will never understand. Like, fucking Barishnikov danced, fucking Wagner wrote operas. I fucking play Twitter. I am a fucking master at it. Because I've never, ever said I don't, in any context, think the walkout should happen. I've never said I think it's wrong. What I said is I don't support it. I didn't say I support it not happening. I support the opposite. What I said was I'm not just blindly going, well, players must just be right and all be poor players. Like the players make, like he just said there, massive amounts of money. Some of them make money and will never, ever be an LCS player. And they might make, if they play enough years of academy, they might make $500,000. And what did he pay the $500,000 for? No one watched it. Like I said in my meme, the same people at the NPC, like NACL is vital for the development of NA talent. It's like, but you didn't watch it, so it wasn't sustainable. the fuck? It's like, that's just accurate. So here's what I will say. My problem is that I think you have got the gun against the wrong person's head. As far as I can tell, the main problem is with Riot. Riot doesn't either construct an ecosystem where financially there's an incentive for teams to have the academy squad, or they don't take part of the millions they make in the side off league, as we're speculating, like Monty's talking about, and just assign it and say, you know what, we're going to change the circumstances, like Philip Aram talked about. It goes to Chicago, or you can maybe be remote and you don't have to have California minimums, and maybe eventually we do get it down to 300k or 250k to run a team. And at that point in time, maybe Riot even says, here's 150k as a stipend. You can only use it on your academy team. You choose how good you want the academy team to be with an extra amount. But essentially for you, it costs 100k or 200k. And maybe then teams do it, right? My problem is this. Who is everyone mad at? It ain't Riot. Everyone's mad at the team orgs. Everyone's saying, oh, the fucking team orgs dropping the team. Even though, as he just said there, teams were costing 600, 700k or $1 million to run a team. Right. And now you're in a massive economic winter where everyone's losing money. There's no VC money coming in. Sponsors are dropping out. There's less sponsor budgets. They're all tightening their belt as all these things. Banks collapse within the fucking world. In this world, you've come along and you're telling them not only must you run this, even if it doesn't make any sense to you, but if you field players to replace us stepping out now, they're the biggest pieces of shit ever, and you're the biggest piece of shit. And what people don't get is this. The team's agreement with LCS is I will field a team in your league that I have bought a franchise slot to. It doesn't say in the contract, well, unless, of course, there's like a contract dispute and people walk out. So the weirdest thing about this to me is this isn't about LCS. This is LCS pros saying, for the sake of a different league, not the one I play in, I'm going to refuse my labor. It's not just to Riot, to my team. Now, the hope there, obviously, is the whole LCS gets cancelled for day one, which might end up happening. Here's what they haven't thought through. When you get a player, let's say Bjergsen, right? If you sign Bjergsen, you don't just sign him to be good at mid lane. You sign him because he's Bjergsen. He has a following. There's an interest in your team. You can do deliverables with him in sponsor ads and commercials. You actually base your whole year's budget off massive players like Bjergsen, Simple, Faker, these Grit Arteezy. These are the names that when you sign them, they're worth millions because you can get bigger deals. You can get better sponsorship deliverables. Now, if those players don't play, one, you better hope that sponsor doesn't notice. You will look like an absolute fucking clown. Secondly, you have to field a team anyway. It's Riot that's saying you have to field a team, and they're now making it you can field anyone. Riot is basically instead of the PA putting the gun on Riot, they've put the gun onto the player's own boss, the guy that pays him the millions. And then when the guy turns to Riot like, are you going to help me? Riot puts a gun on them too and goes, field a team, motherfucker. You know what way it's going. And these people are just sat between the ones who pay the millions that make these pros able to say, I won't play this day. And the worst part about this is, if you know one rule about fucking business, you do not shit where you eat. You are fucking up the business right now. When you fuck up those sponsor aspects, right, you can't come back 2 weeks later and go, it's okay, I'm back now and we're back into LCS. No. The sponsor doesn't want to hear that, mate. There's no in fact, if the sponsors find out, by the way, they're sponsoring teams with massive budgets who aren't even fielding the players, and now every fan stupidly hates the org themselves, they are not going to want to sponsor that team. That is going to fracture and damage the relationship with the sponsors. What does that mean in the ecosystem? Because remember, the money for NACL and these people comes from Riot. You're going to go, no, but the revenue share comes from the success of the league. If you all hate on the league and the fucking teams, then eventually the money's going to go down, and now you're in a worse position. Now we're trying to make fucking $1 out of 50 cents now. Now it's even worse for us. And in no point in time have you ever reduced the costs of Academy, because currently it's still in LA. That's why the worst part of that episode of Four Horsemen is no one listened. He said they had so many things they wanted to change, like, let's cut the costs, go remote. Let's make it so you don't have to have all these players. Maybe you don't have to have certain things you have to have in California. If people do that, I'm in favor of that. I'm even in favor of the concept of denying your labor if you think it's important. But right now, the approach that's being taken, I actually just think it's just going to hurt the team orgs. They're the main people who are going to suffer. I think Riot, quite frankly, they can tank a week or two if they want. That's why I think they're trying to play hardball and test it out. Like, see if they really have the stones for this. So my problem is you're just putting the gun on the wrong people. It isn't people like, by the way, behind the scenes, a couple of massive orgs even told me, my org's so successful with sponsorship, I don't actually mind an ACL. I would have kept it running. But I'll tell you what, if everyone else is bailing, especially the small orgs, I'm not just going to keep putting $1 million in while they put nothing in, and then they buy my player or bid against me. Like, I'm going to have to drop it too. It's what we're all doing. Essentially, everyone seems to agree. Riot is the one who can fix this with the compromise, and they're the only one not being bloody blamed because it's the big monolithic Riot, whereas Jack, Steve, these people that you can lash out at. So I just think the vitriol's misplaced. As long as it's done in the right way, I'd be on the side of the players, but not if it's actually going to hurt the league. And worse, you are fucking up the contracts, bro. The one thing we can't do right now is fuck up the sponsor money. It's the lifeblood of esports.
Yeah, and honestly, I think that's what's crazy about what's going on is that if they run the league with a bunch of random players, then the sponsors aren't. Look, the attitude in esports right now from sponsors is they're already not getting what they paid for, and so if they are paying for a professional league and they get a clown fiesta, I'd be pissed as a sponsor. It doesn't matter if viewership is going up. This literally is a brand association with my brand with a fucking, disgrace of a match.
See more cool, funny, interesting clips based on topics from my content? Well, subscribe to this channel then, or, be a pleb and don't.